And I mean, I'm grateful for the men and women who are joining the military today, knowing what they're going to get into. I mean, we just lost a service member locally in Spartanburg. It was an Army reservist who lost his life. And that just goes to show, we are still living we're still living in a time of war. This is the first time in history that this country has had the pleasure of having an all-volunteer military serving in the longest wars we've ever fought in. And you could think good or bad about that, but the facts still remain that our country has been at war since 2003. And we still have people that are willing to raise their hand and say, "Send me, I'll go," and that's special. And so, any way that I can give back to them and teach them what I've learned and what I've learned from others. It's just amazing that you have generations of you have fathers and sons fighting in the same war. I think for us here in the community. It's really easy to criticize and to think that we have all the answers. But what we should be doing is taking care of those volunteers, of the family members who are sacrificing their loved ones too, because they're also serving.
I know that you are currently with Northwestern Mutual.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about what led you to that to this part of the journey?
Right. So I was recruited by them in early of 2019. I was already a client. I already knew a lot of the guys that worked there. And when I had my son, I felt like I needed to do things for him that weren't done for myself. So one of the things that I specialize in is legacy planning. So legacy planning was really important for me. I'm first generation here. My parents, my dad's from Mexico, my mom was Nicaraguan, and they came here with nothing but the clothes on their backs and suitcases. And myself and my sisters. And so they weren't educated with what a lot of the things that our clients are educated with. Or get educated on. And the same thing in my military career. There's a lot of things that the military offers when it comes to planning, and your typical service member is just hard-headed, and we don't listen to any of those things. And so my advisor at the time knew that I was looking for a new direction, and he said, would you ever consider doing what we do?
Yeah.
And I said, no, that's not my background. I don't know anything about it. That's why I have y'all doing the work for me. He said, we just need people that care about others, that are coachable, and just have something inside of them that's inherently just wanting to help other people. And that's something that I definitely have, that I have a passion in and I enjoy doing. And so I gave it a shot, and 2 years later, here I am. Found a completely new passion that involves a calculator.
I was curious, with military skills, skill with hidden wounds. I'm assuming some of these skill sets that you have there, they transfer into the work that you're doing now. Being able to work with people and help them, etc.
Yeah, and it's. I would say one of the biggest things that has helped me coming from the nonprofit sector to the private sector, and especially what I'm doing, is being a good listener. You have to be a good listener. In the mental health field, people want to be listened to. They especially want to be listened to by someone who is going to be non-judgmental, and it's going to be there to help them no matter the situation. And the same thing can be said when it comes to risk management or financial planning, is people just want to be heard. And you don't know what you don't know. And so they come to us for for that expertise.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing when I was doing nonprofit work. It was just becoming an expert in a certain area,
Yeah.
and being able to help people who that was something that they had an interest in, and seeing who else would be interested in doing what we do. Because we're always looking to add more people, and especially in an atmosphere where people are losing jobs and there's so much uncertainty in hiring. This company has prospered. If anything, we've done more in the past 4 months compared to the same time in years past. So that's really been amazing to see, and it gives me greater conviction that I'm in the right place, and as a client that I came to the right place.
Yeah, that's really impressive. That speaks a lot to the organization that you're in. So tell me a little bit about kind of some how it spreads out a little bit. You know, you do work with a nonprofit here locally, and can you give us a little feedback on how that operation works?
Yeah, so I work with several. The ones that I'm heavily involved in are Hidden Wounds, Folds of Honor, Palmetto Chapter, and